So Roger, we've gotten a bunch of questions about Byways. So if you don't mind answering a few, that would be great. The first question that came in is, Byways has reached an impressive milestone now in its 8th printing with over 30,000 copies in circulation, and has sparked meaningful conversations through a wide range of talks, Q&A sessions, exhibitions, and signings across both Europe and the United States. In light of the book's success and the ongoing dialogue that it's inspired, what has resonated with you most in the way that the audiences have responded to this deeply personal, let me finish the question, this deeply personal body of work, particularly in contrast to the reception of your acclaimed film career? I didn't read that last part before I asked it.
Well, I'm stupefied, staggered, kind of left speechless by reaction either to my work in film or especially this book, Byways. I mean, we did it just during the pandemic, it was a kind of just a way of, I don't know, putting together my memories of photographs I'd taken over the years, and it was just a small thing. I thought maybe it would, maybe 30 people would buy it, not 30,000. I mean, I know it's just staggering. I mean, it's kind of wonderful. But I mean, I think the most rewarding thing is when we go to book signings or we have an exhibition and people genuinely seem to react to certain images and it makes them feel something, and that's why do you make an image if you're not trying to capture some feeling that you had and allow
pass it on.
And can allow an audience to feel what you felt at that moment.
I think you've kind of answered the second question, which is the viewers shared with you particular reactions to photos that have left a lasting impression on you.
Well, it's always nice when you take a picture and you think, well, that's a bit obscure why I took it. There's one particular picture of someone swimming off a pier in Melbourne, it was actually, Port Phillip. So there's this tiny little head swimming away from the pier, and in the foreground there's the boards of the pier and just this kind of little bit of plastic wrapper or something. And right in the background there's a ferry for Tasmania. It's got Tasmania on it, I think it's. And I think, well, that photograph kind of meant something to me, but it's a funny little image. But then I remember somebody saying, I really like that photograph. It's so strange and haunting. You know what I mean? It's like that moment that you took it, you remember the feeling you had. So when somebody has that same feeling looking at the image, it's kind of like pretty wonderful, really.
Yeah, it must be an amazing feeling to realize that somebody else has the same reaction to you, to a photograph that you can't explain why you have the reaction. It must be nice.
And the fact is that I experienced the moment, and then you're sharing that moment, years and years later. I mean, there's been a number of people have made comments about photographs I'd taken in like 1970 and 71 up in North Devon. And whether it's partly nostalgia for a way of life that's no more, but I do generally feel that some of the images, had an effect. They felt what I was feeling, as I said, at that moment, which is nice.
Well, another question that's come to us is, Byways reflects a strong visual affinity with rural settings, a theme that you've explored with both depth and sensitivity. Since the book's publication, have new environments, subjects, or atmospheres sparked your interest as a photographer? Would you say your focus has evolved thematically or geographically?
No, not at all. I mean, I just happened to take photographs in North Devon because I actually had I had a brief to photograph rural life when I was It was my first job, actually, or first commission, yeah. So that's why there was a number of photographs from North Devon in the book. I mean, and the fact is I'm from Devon, and most of my photographs have been taken while I've been at home in Devon, you know. But I take photographs everywhere I go, you know. When we're off on a film somewhere in Australia or something, I'll go out for the Saturday or Sunday and just wander around hoping to find an image that I like, you know, like the one I'm talking about, the pier off Port Phillip near Melbourne. You know, it was just like I was wandering down the promenade there and off the pier and just happened to find this image that kind of, I don't know, I kind of reacted to, you know. So it can be anywhere. Not that long ago we were going to Las Vegas, and it's funny that it was not images in Las Vegas itself, but one on the way that I kind of really liked was a parking lot, you know, outside a casino. So, you know, you
Very
find
far from rural seaside.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, so you find images here, there, and everywhere, really.
Well, are there specific subjects you're always on the lookout for? Some photographers say the best pictures are taken along the journey rather than at the destination. Do you usually set out with the intention of taking photos, or do you prefer to always carry a camera on you and capture the moments as they come?
No, I don't always carry a camera. No. I kind of like, you know, like we're here in Devon, and one day I'll say, well, today I'm going fishing. And then another day I'll say, well, I'll go to some seaside town and wander around, see if I can find a photograph.
Well, and another thing we've done too is that every time we go to a place to do Q&As or book signings, we've asked for an extra day there, because it's a new location for you.
I mean, I had a couple of days wandering in Chicago, you know, while we were there with that exhibition. And I just like, you know, part of it's an excuse just to walk and explore.
You know, this is my question, not one of the questions that came in, but if you have the opportunity to go, if you're in a place that you don't know very well, to go around for a day with a camera, do you end up liking that place better because you kind of have been able to explore it and learn it a little by looking through the camera lens?
I don't know, like it, but yeah, I mean, you kind of feel more at home in it or something, I suppose. Yeah, it's not whether you like it or not, but it's nice becoming familiar with a place, really, and in a sort of quiet way, not like just kind of breezing in like you're doing a movie and you've come to a location scout and you see very specific places relating to the film that you're working on. I mean, I like just wandering. I just like wandering back streets or wherever, you know. I think you get a better sense of a place like that without any particular goal, you know. I might look at a map and think, well, that'd be interesting to go wander around, I don't know, in Chicago, Wrigley's Field or something like that. You know, just the neighborhood was kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah. Here's another question. Are there any photographers, either historical or contemporary, whose work has shaped your visual sensibility or whose approach you find especially compelling? What names or books continue to inspire your photographic eye? But doesn't everything inspire you?
Yeah, everything. I mean, there's more painters than photographers in a way. I mean, you know, I always got, well, the other day we were in London and we went straight to an exhibition of Edward Munch's paintings at the National Portrait Gallery. I mean, you know, anytime I can get to see his paintings, or Giorgio de Chirico, I love Giorgio de Chirico's work. So, you know, again, anytime I get to see his work, you know. But yeah, there's plenty of photographers. I mean, when I started out, it was like Roger Main, because he was teaching at the art school I was at. But there's also Bill Brandt. I really liked Bill Brandt because his photographs were kind of across the board. It wasn't like a kind of one look. He wasn't like a social photographer, like making comments about, society. He wasn't a war photographer. I mean, one moment he'd be photographing a nude, and the next moment he'd be photographing, a workman with, carrying coal in the north of England. I mean, he was a kind of amazing chameleon, really.
Since the release of Byways and its warm reception, have you experienced a renewed desire to engage with photography on a personal level? Has the project marked a standalone moment, or do you see it as the beginning of a new chapter in your photographic journey?
Well, I think that goes back to the first kind of question, really. When you get such reactions to your work, I've always liked photography, but and now having the reactions to the photographs in Byways, I think, because I've never considered myself a photographer. I mean, all the images are just kind of like my little sketches of me wandering around, But actually, it's made me think, well, I kind of really like taking photographs. And it gives me as much, if not more, satisfaction than film work. So in a way, yeah, it's probably it's something I really enjoy doing at this time in my life.
I think it's also interesting, the difference between film work and still photography, in that film is such a collaborative effort, and which is a wonderful thing, but with stills, you get to make the final decision right then and there, no discussion. That must be.
Well, it's like talking about Harry Griot, the great colour photographer. I mean, and he's saying that he started out in film, but he couldn't stand being told when to push the button, I mean, he liked that freedom and like being by himself, Alex Webb's the same, the great Alex Webb. And I've sympathised with that all through my career, really. I mean, I'm the last person really to be on a film set. You know what I mean? I'm very much a loner, I suppose. So I kind of really love being by myself with a camera.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, we're looking forward to seeing more photos. I get to see them first, which is great.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny you take a photo. I take a photograph, and the other day I came back from taking photographs, and I got one that I really liked, and I just was all kind of like on a high, Yeah.
It's funny, you looked so surprised when you said, "Oh, I got one I really liked."
Yeah, no, well, it was always a surprise if you like something, I don't know.
You're just too picky.
I don't know.